Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, or if this is your first time here, welcome to my channel. My name is Sam and I'm coming on tonight because I thought I would do a little craft with me video. I've been working on this journal since yesterday and let me just measure it to see. It is, I think it's a 5x7. It's 7.5 by about 5.25. And it's quite a chunky journal. I think it's about 104 pages front to back. So I'm working on this, and what I'm doing is just going through the pages and decorating them. Now this is the front, it's all sewn. I have the metal corners on it. Let me make sure that you're totally in frame. Yeah. It's fabric covered, it has buttons on it, it has appliques and crocheted flowers on the back. And you can see I've zigzagged it all the way around with the sewing machine, and I've used this fabric here which I absolutely love as a closure. So if we open it up, I will show you how far I have gotten. So I've made the book and I've put the signature in. It's one signature, and I'll show you how far I've got with the decorating. Now on the front pocket, on the front page, sorry, I made a pocket. And I put on this fabric here, which is this one, and I just dyed it with some of the stain, the Tim Holtz Distress stain. This is a Project Life card that I just stained and I put it on. Here I've done some stenciling. All the paper is parchment vellum, and this is some washi tape. I used this is from the Dovecraft Mum range. I thought it went nice with the colours. In the front I've put in this little embroidery die, and I just cut it out and then coloured it in so it looks a bit like mahogany. And I've put in this tag that I've sewn all the way around. I haven't done anything to the tag yet. Like I said, I'm just sort of jumping about in this book. So before I put the signature in, I've got a wee spray box that I made, and I've done some stenciling and some spraying with some of the distress inks. On this first page I made this vellum envelope, and it has some vintage sack cloth down the side, a beautiful flower, some vintage buttons and some lovely satin fabric with sequins on. I made this little book. This is a die from AliExpress and it's so cute. You could do some journaling. It has some book paper and a little card, and that just goes into the top spot on the front. Inside the vellum envelope I made this tag here, the heart always finds its way, and I put it onto, this is the same as this one except I didn't put the holes for the embroidery into this one. I just made it into a large tag, and I've popped that in that envelope. This one, as you can see, I stenciled on some of the distress stain, and I cut out this, "The World Is Yours Today." I've just paper clipped it on. It's just a little tag and I've paper clipped it on so you can do some journaling. Some book paper. This is some coffee stained. All the papers are coffee stained, and these are, it's a bit of card, and I've just punched it out. I've put in a little Hessian tag and just clipped it on as some more washi tape. Here I've done some quite heavy spraying because I quite like this effect, and I put on some lace and I zigzagged it on zigzag stitch with the sewing machine, and another vintage button. I love this page. You can see the stitching down the side here. This is another piece of this potato sack cloth, and I can't remember who sent me this. It's absolutely beautiful. I call it potato sack because that's what it feels like. It's like the old potato sacks, and it's really vintage. It's lovely. And then I sewed on with the sewing machine some of this satin fabric. This was actually a scarf that I used to have, and then so this is like a fabric flip, and I just put on one of these wee bull clips and a metal leaf embellishment. This page is coffee dyed again. Here's some graph paper, and it's just been stenciled and stained, coffee dyed as well. Here I've done some stenciling with some of the distress paint, Tim Holtz Distress paint. And then this book, I can't remember what it's called. I think it's called The Scarecrow and the Boy. It's got some really lovely imagery, so I took a page out of that, put on some of this rope here, glued it on, and I've made a little side pocket. Again, I have coffee stained these tags, but I haven't put anything on them yet. I just sewn them. Actually, these ones were already coffee stained. These got sent to me from America. I think it was Danny that sent me these, or someone sent me these from America. And I apologise, I find it hard sometimes because it was last year to remember who sent me what, but as you can see, I absolutely use everything that you guys send me. So I stitched up this one. I haven't decorated it yet, so you see I've been jumping kind of back and forward between the pages. This is this manuscript paper, and I've punched it with a butterfly punch all the way down the sides. Coffee dyed. This is more of this paper. I think this is my last sheet of this from Amanda Hardy, so I'll need to get some food colouring and do some food colour paper because I love this, and Amanda introduced me to it. Here, this is a stencil that I've done with the, what do you call it? The Dylusion spray, and that's from Lovely Deja craftingsupplies.co.uk. She sells that. Here, this is another one of the Scarecrow and the Boy pages, and I just done the sewing round and added a little embellishment here, and this is a wee envelope. So these pages, I'm not saying that they're finished, I've been, like I say, I jump about and see what I'm going to do next. More coffee dyeing. This is a map page, and I added on some of this beautiful fabric. It's the same fabric that I used for the tie. And here is another one of these tags. All I've done is sewn the tags, and this is a different little book, a little card, sorry, from AliExpress die, and it's got the little love in the inside. So I don't know what I'm going to do with them yet. This is just some stenciling, and I used the Spectrum Warp ends. I've done some punching here, and you see it comes through the other side. It's lovely. Some lace here, some vintage buttons, and that's all sewn down that side as well. Coffee staining on some bookkeeping paper and some punching out. This is a lovely image of a ballerina. This came out of a vintage book a while back. It's in coffee staining here. In here, another one of these coffee stain tags that I've just sewn. Some stenciling that I've done. More coffee dyeing. This, you've seen me haul this from Hobbycraft, this gorgeous car, vintage car, 1950s car paper. Here I've stenciled on this lovely rose with the distressed sprays. Some music paper. More of that gorgeous gold paper, and I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. Some here, some stenciling. This is a die cut, a die that I've got from AliExpress. It's one of these header dies, and I just coloured it in, and it's made it into a little tuck spot and put in some pearls down here. This is more stenciling. This is an envelope, and I've stenciled the word love. I don't know what I'm going to put in there yet. Here is a bag that I was sent, and it's a wee opening. Again, I don't know what I'm going to do to that. I love this. I don't know how well it's picking up on camera, but this was coffee stained in my tray in my oven, and it's actually picked up. It says Baker's World, something Baker's World, so it's really cool. I've done some more punching out here. Love this. This is a distressed paint, and it's a silver, and it's really, well, it's a pewter it's called. Again, Lovely Deja sells these in her shop. Brushed pewter distressed paint, Tim Holtz, and it turns out really fab. This is a die cut, and I just die cut her out and coloured her in, stuck her in there. More paint, more pages, more stenciling. The other side of that bag, this time on the envelope. Again, this side opens up, it says fun. Butterfly punch, more lovely stenciling, all the coffee paper, more of that stenciling, more coffee dyed music paper. The other side of that 1950s car, lined coffee stained paper. You can see all the washi tape down the side. Some lovely paper, some punch outs. This is just some stenciling that I've done, and some crochet lace down the side. More some vintage buttons. Here is a little tuck spot that I made with a die, and this is another die that I've got. I'm going to do a haul on these dies and show you guys. I've had some stuff come in from AliExpress, so I will do that. This is the other side of the matte paper. You can see it's not finished. I've just put two of these coffee stained tags and sewn them. More coffee dyed graph paper. I've just done some of the Dylusions purple spray, the lilac, laid back lilac it's called. Again, that's from Lovely Deja craftingsupplies.co.uk. more of Amanda's paper, some coffee dyeing, more punching down the side. I've done some more stenciling here with the distress paints. This is one of these dies that came, and I've just popped that in as a little tuck spot, not put anything in it yet. And some more stenciling and some more punching. On the back there is a pocket, and I've just put on some of this fabric, this lovely pink polka dot fabric here. It's like a sort of Hessian feel, it's lovely. And I've sewn it on, and this is a Project Life card with like a map on it, and I've put that in, but I haven't put anything in it yet. So let's pick a page that we're going to work on today. So like I say, I like to pick them at random, and that way, because I feel, I can't remember who it was that said it on YouTube, and it's absolutely true, I like to do it this way, because if I start at the beginning, by the time I get like halfway through or to the end, I can't be bothered, and I feel like the end of the book doesn't get as much attention as the beginning of the book. So I tend to like flip back and forward and see what I can do so that I don't get fed up. So I want to keep those pages for journaling. I quite like that page. Yeah, I think I'll maybe go with this page here. So to keep my page, I'm going to stick this piece of paper, that's just a piece of scrap that I use for when I'm colouring in. Now what I want to do is make an envelope, and I have this nostalgia pad that I got ages and ages ago from Lidl's, and it has some really pretty papers in it. Now, these are gloss papers, and that's why I haven't really used a lot of it, because you guys will know if you watch my channel, I'm not really into gloss paper. But I thought for making an envelope for inside the journal, it would be perfect. So let's have a wee look, see what we've got. That one's nice. That one's nice. That's a bit red. That one's nice, maybe. Yeah, we could go with that one. That one's got like the postcards on it. Flowers, butterflies. That's quite nice. And then I want to make a little book for going inside the envelope. So let's see if we have another little scrap. We do, but it's that one. That one doesn't really go. Well, that one's nice. Okay, so we'll take those two. We'll put that to the side. So, I also, yesterday I went to Falkirk Car Booty, and I'm going to show you the things that I got. I'm going to do a wee haul on that. So instead of using, now you could take this to the envelope punch board, but like you guys know, I like making my own envelopes. I like to use the envelope punch board as well, don't get me wrong. I like doing it when I'm doing my flip books and things, but for the junk journals, I like to do it this way. Not all the time, sometimes I do use the envelope punch board, but for this occasion I'm going to just make it my way. So I'm just kind of lining it up on the page to see how much space that I have, folding it over, and then folding over the flap of my envelope, which will be the top. So that will go like that and open up like so. Okay, so what I'm going to do, pop that in there so I don't lose my page. I quite like that, but I want to take the Oxide, if I can find it, the Vintage Photo Distress Oxide, and I'm going to go around and add a little bit of colour, like that. Just make sure you guys can still see what I'm doing. Just all the way around the edge, just vintages it up a wee bit. Now, a wee tip that I've noticed, if you're doing the inside flap of your envelope and you want, obviously you're doing, this is going to go inside, so you're going to see this side as well. Don't take your ink and then go over it like this because you will end up with a line along here. Flip your envelope over the side that's going to be glued onto your book and then do it that way. Okay, just a wee tip. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is run it through the sewing machine. You don't have to do this, you can just glue it all the way down. I'm just doing it because I've got the sewing machine now and I think it looks nice. So I'm going to run the sewing machine down the edge, along and then up just to seal it, and I will be straight back. So I don't know how well you guys can see that. I've ran round the zigzag stitch all the way around the envelope. There you are, you can see it now. So I've just ran that all the way around. So that looks pretty. So what we're going to do now, let's go back to the page. I'm going to put this in, that's here. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that. And I like the background. I don't think I'll put a tiny wee bit of ink, just what I already had on my dauber because it's already coffee stained, so I think it looks fine. Now this book isn't broken in yet, it's still new because it's not being used, so it's still quite standing up, like that wants to open up. It will lie flat the more it gets used. So I'm just going to take my Anita's tacky glue, glue along the 4 edges on the back. Oops. Not too much glue, like so. And I have been remembering to put my lid on. It's astonishing, I know, but I have been remembering, so quite chuffed with that. Pop that on where I want it, which is roughly about there. Wiping any excess glue away. Give that a wee press down like that. Okay, so does that need anything else? Maybe a wee button here, a wee vintage button, but we'll do that in a second. So I'll let that dry. Let me just pop something in there so I don't lose the page. Now, this little book that I'm going to make, actually bring the junk journal back in for a second though, just to see what size I need to make my book. So this is going to be the cover of my wee book. Actually, that's pretty much perfect. So I'm going to fold this over. This paper is really pretty. Like I say, it's gloss. I'm not overly keen on gloss paper, but it is really beautiful. The only reason I'm not really keen, it's not that I'm not keen, I just prefer uncoated paper. I don't know why, it's always just been something that I've been into. So each to their own, I guess. Now I want to take some, this is just some white copier paper, and we'll go for 4 pages in this little book. And what I do is I lie it down, my cover. I take my paper, there may be an easier way to do this, but this is the way I like doing it. And I line up the spine and I just fold it over where I'm going to be using it, making sure it is straight like that. And then just take a pen or a pencil, make a little mark, bring in the cutter, that's what I like about this cutter, because you've got the wire so you can do it absolutely exact where you want it. And here. Okay, I still haven't changed my blade. I've got another one there to put in it as well, so I need to do it. Is that on the right side? Okay. So I've made my little pages. Let me just double check that these are going to fit. And yep, they're going to fit nicely in there. So let's take them back out. Bring in the oxide. Again, it's the vintage photo. I'm just going round pages quite randomly, just adding on some colour. I'm going to do that on the back. So for you guys that have been enjoying my card series, I am going to be doing more of that. I was going to do it today. I've had a request to do a waterfall card and an 8x8 card, which I'm going to do. I can't remember, I had a request for something else as well actually. I'll need to look at it and see what it was, and I will do that as well. Okay, so I've also got 2 collaborations coming up in July, which I'm really looking forward to. One is a Christmas collaboration and one is a summer collaboration. So that is going to be really fun. That's coming up soon. Friday and Saturday next week. This week, sorry. So yeah, that's going to be really fab. So stay tuned for those. So I'm going to be doing lots of Christmas crafting actually over the next few weeks. As obviously as part of the collab, but I may do some as not part of the collab as well, because I like doing Christmas crafting, and it's definitely good to get a good start at this time of year, because come September and things, we're almost so busy I don't get enough time to spend on my Christmas crafting. There's an ice cream van, you can hear outside. Okay, sorry if this bit's boring guys, just fast forward this bit if you like. Okay, so I paused it there because the ice cream van was really loud. He stopped right outside the house. So all I've done is sewn around the cover and added on some Distress Oxide in the vintage photo again. And what I'm going to do before I put the pages in, I've got this little spray bottle, and this is just plain water that's inside it, and I'm going to actually, instead of spraying it, what I'm going to do is take the top off and just drip some water onto the Distress Oxide like that. And the same with this one, and just let it soak for a wee minute and let it react with the ink. I really need to get a better spray bottle, one that just puts out droplets. This one's useless. It sprays too much water out. Okay, so I've done that, and then what I'm going to do is take another piece of, you can do it with napkin or things if you like, I'll just take another piece of copy paper, put it over the top and lift off the ink. And that is what is fantastic about these oxides. It lifts the colour back out. I'll show you guys in a wee second. It's such a cool effect. I think I'll do it on both sides. What I'll do is, I'm going to spray some of this. I'll do it on both sides and then I will dry it with the heat gun, because you can see it a bit better then. Okay, I'm actually going to get a napkin. So I've just got one of these green napkins from IKEA, and I'm just soaking up the water. Yeah, that's a bit better. And then I'm going to hit it with my heat gun. Okay, so I've dried it with the heat gun, and can you see the cool effect that you get? It looks as if the paper has oxidised. That is what I absolutely love about these Distress Oxides. Honestly, the effects that you can get. I mean, this paper now looks about 100 years old, and it's just plain white copy paper. It's fantastic. So, what I'm going to do now is I have this stamp set from AliExpress, and I'm going to use, I'll show you guys a couple of the stamps. I don't know if you'll actually be able to see it. I'd probably better be just stamping it and then showing it to you. This is a little postcard stamp, and I'm just going in with the Oxide, the vintage photo, and putting it on. Now, ordinarily I wouldn't stamp with the Distress inks. I didn't think I got a very good result with them, but the Oxides are a different ball game. You can stamp with the Oxides and you get a fantastic crisp image. So I've used that little one for that page, and then on this page I think I will use this one. I love these AliExpress stamps. I've just ordered more as well. I've ordered, like I said, I'm going to do a haul on the dies that I've got. I ordered dies and they came in 10 days later, and I've got more dies that I've just ordered. I'm waiting on those coming in. I've ordered some stamps as well. So we've now got this V1 of the world, so that is there. And then on these pages I will just add, I'm just doing this kind of random, adding on just wee pictures into this book. It just gives it a little bit of interest. This one here, this one says destination allures, I think it says. So that one. And lastly I'll have, what does this say? This one says destination, so I'll have this little one on here, and I'll just have it on the opposite corner there. Okay, can you see that? So now let's have a wee look and see how our book is looking. Oops. We have this little page, this little page, that little page, and that little page. I think I'll maybe do one more in here. I've got this little compass one, and I'll kind of just do it in the centre there. Okay, so that is my little book. Okay, what I'm going to do with this is run it on a straight stitch right down the spine on the sewing machine, and I'll be straight back. Okay, so I've now sewn it down the centre. So you can see it's a beautiful little journaling book. You could either slip into your bag or use it inside the junk journal. And all I'm going to do now is I have this stamp set again from AliExpress, and I want this dream. So again, I'm going to use the Vintage Photo Distress Oxide. Now, if this was vintage, if this was just Distress ink, I wouldn't go ahead and stamp it straight onto the glossy paper, because it takes a lifetime to dry. This, you just stamp straight down, and because it dries chalky, it actually takes no time at all to dry. You can see it drying already. Okay, so Okay, let's cut the threads off from the sewing machine. So I think this book is absolutely cute. I think it's turned out lovely. You can see the oxides here. It really looks aged and vintage, and it's just really tactile. I love it. So we'll bring back in the junk journal, and we'll go to page with our envelope, and let's just see if this fits in, which it should. Yep, fits in about perfect actually. Just recrease that down there. Now, do I want to do anything else? I think on here I have this applique that I was sent. Again, I apologise, I can't remember who sent me it, but it's absolutely beautiful. I think I'm going to pop some of it down on the envelope. What do you think? Okay, so we'll take a bit off. Let's clear some of this out of the way. And I think that will go down there like so. I think that looks really pretty. So let's bring in the glue gun, the trusty glue gun, and I'm just going to put a tiny bit on the top to get me started here. Okay, wait till it dries, and then popping that out of the way just now. I'll put a wee bit on each flower instead of on the stalk, because you don't really need it on the stalk. If you hold it tight it will dry anyway. It'll stay a wee bit on that flower. Just let it find its own place. And then on here, on the bigger flowers, I'll put another bigger bit. Whoops, I've got some glue sticking on my envelope. I say it all the time, that's the one thing I hate about the glue gun, it gets everywhere. You get all the wee trails off it, and ugh, it drives me nuts. There we go. See? Drives me crazy. And the last wee bit here, this flower.